Welcome into Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope that all of you are having a fantastic Thursday. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us here on Outkick the Show. Remember that Outkick the Show is always presented by Oddshark. Go to Oddshark for all of your gambling and informational related needs. Kentucky Derby's coming up this weekend. You've got the NBA. You've got the NHL. There is an awful lot of details to dive into today, giving you a sense for what the rundown is going to be like. We are going to talk about several different things. One, why I still think Nick Saban is underpaid. I got a great email from an Alabama dad that I want to read to you that I think personifies it really well. Two, I'm going to talk a little bit more about paying college players. We had a really good discussion on it all the time, and it was fantastic. It was really good on the show this morning. We will talk about the health care bill that was recently passed, and I will explain why I understand nothing about health care. We will also talk about the upcoming Outkick VIP experience, which we are going to offer. And on top of all of that, I will talk to you about the Star Wars hotness rankings in honor of May the 4th, and you guys can participate in that as well. But we begin with Nick Saban today. It's a continued fallout over Nick Saban's $11 million contract, becoming the highest paid coach in American sports, pro or college. And I would say this right now. This is an email from a guy named Andrew. He said, my kids went to a small private Catholic high school in northern Delaware. It's an email to me. About 125 in the graduating class. For the fifth year in a row, and this is outstanding, for the fifth year in a row, at least one kid has chosen to attend Alabama, costing about $15,000 a year more for out-of-state students than they would have been paying at the University of Delaware. They have comparable entrance requirements, he says. I never remember anyone choosing Alabama as their college pre-Nick Saban. When I asked the college counselor about this, he said students are clearly drawn to a big-time football atmosphere of Alabama versus what they would get at 1AA Delaware. This guy says he went and looked at the change in out-of-state student percentages at Alabama since Saban won his first national title. This is an incredible stat that doesn't get that much attention, and this is amazing. Using rough numbers, out-of-state students in Alabama's freshman class have increased from 35% the first year that Saban was at Bama to 65% in the past decade. Let's be extremely conservative, he says, and give Saban credit. This may also be in the mailbag tomorrow, and I'll respond to it there as well. But he says, let's be extremely conservative and give Saban credit for 10% of that 30% increase. In a freshman class of 7,500 kids, that's an additional 750 kids paying around $17,000 more a year in tuition, the difference between in-state and out-of-state at Alabama. Spread that over 4 classes, and that's nearly $50 million every year in extra tuition revenue at Alabama. That's not even counting what he's meant to the university as a whole, and obviously to the football program. This is just money from the university as a whole. Also, again, the number of kids from Alabama going down. ACT and SAT scores are up. Nick Saban, he finishes at $11 million a year in salary, is in fact the bargain of the century. And I don't think there's any doubt at all about that. Okay, so Nick Saban, bargain of the century. I just loved all that data there. I wanted to hit you with that off the top. Now, it's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, kids. I'm wearing a I Drink and I Know Things t-shirt. If you can see that right now on Facebook and on Periscope. And by the way, I love having an open email address because I read everything. I don't have the time to respond to a lot of email addresses, but I read literally everything that everybody puts out there. And so many of you are really smart, which is why I'm going to be starting Outkick VIP, which I'll talk about at the end of today's show. But I'm telling you right now that this is a great day to be doing a show. May the 4th. Right now, my kids obviously are huge Star Wars people. My 9-year-old, my 6-year-old, we're going to have a May the 4th party. May the 4th be with you party for them here in a little bit when they get out of school, so I've got to finish that. But I thought we couldn't have a May the 4th show without a Star Wars Power Rankings. And so, right now, I want you guys to tell me who you rank as the hottest on Star Wars of all time, including all the movies, including Rogue One. So I believe that is 8 overall movies thus far. I think there's no doubt at all. I'm going to start right here. Princess Leia in the bikini was the single hottest moment of my childhood. I remember, I think I've told this story before, my first ever erection caused by a woman, 100% honest here, first ever erection caused by a woman was Princess Leia in the Slave Leia bikini. I remember being like 5 years old or 6 years old at the movie theater, seriously, sitting there watching Return of the Jedi, no idea yet that I was heterosexual. Princess Leia comes out in that slave costume on Jabba's lap, and my penis was out of my control from that moment forward. I've never controlled my penis since, but that was the first moment that I ever remember getting an erection based on a woman on a movie or on a TV show or anything else. Keeping it 100% real, I remember being 5 years old and looking down at my penis and seeing that it was connected to the girl that I was seeing on the screen. Now, I don't know if you're supposed to know you're heterosexual at 5 years old, but I sure as hell knew I was heterosexual at 5 years old. I knew that I liked girls the moment that I saw Princess Leia in that slave bikini outfit. And there's probably a lot of you out there who also can trace your looming or booming or sudden recognition that heterosexuality was a thing and that you were going to like girls to your reaction to seeing Princess Leia in the Slave Leia bikini costume. So that in and of itself was a fantastic moment in my young adulthood, and I still love her. God rest her soul, Carrie Fisher. I would say number 2, and I'm trying to be equal here. I think the number 2 hottest person in the history of Star Wars has to be Han Solo. Now, you can disagree. You can disagree with me, and you can say, oh, you can only rank the hotness of girls. I disagree. I have an unblemished record of heterosexuality, and I am telling you right now, Han Solo is number 2 on the hottest list of Star Wars people. I'm telling you right now. You can argue with it, but you're going to be wrong. I would bang Han Solo, and I'm perfectly straight, because that's how awesome Harrison Ford was in the Star Wars movie. Han Solo. There's a lot of girls probably watching this right now, and by a lot I mean like 4 or 5. And they're saying with me right now, they're like, look, I'm not going to argue with you about Princess Leia. She's the unquestioned hottest in the history of Star Wars. Number 2 is, and there's no doubt at all about this, number 2 is Han Solo. Han Solo is the second hottest person in the history of Star Wars. Number 3. Han Solo or Indiana Jones. Whew. That's brings to mind a great story. So my 6-year-old, he was 4 years old, I think then, he's obsessed with Han Solo, thought he was such a badass, watched all of his shows, and we were like, we think you're going to like Indiana Jones too. So we showed Indiana Jones to him, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he said, and I swear, why is Han Solo pretending to be Indiana Jones? So in love with Han Solo that he believed that Han Solo was acting and pretending to be Indiana Jones in the movie. Tell me there's a better line for a 4-year-old than, why is Han Solo pretending to be Indiana Jones in this movie? That's how much he believed in Han Solo. So Han Solo is number 2. Han Solo is number 2 on this list. Number 3 on the list, and you may disagree with me, but it's Queen Padme. It is Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala. There's the scene where she gets her shirt ripped up. There is a couple of sexy scenes. She's number 3 on the list. Now, you may disagree again. You have the right, as I always say on the radio show, and as I always say on this show, you have the right to disagree. You can be wrong. I am right. I've given this a lot of thought. Number 3 on the list, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala. I don't think there's any doubt. Number 4 on the Star Wars hotness list. Are you ready? Number 4 on the Star Wars hotness list? Lando Calrissian. Now, some of you out there are racist, and you're not going to give credit to the only black man in the galaxy, but I'll guarantee you that everybody wanted to fuck Billy D. Williams back in the day. Lando Calrissian was a good-looking man. I will make this argument. Not sure Barack Obama gets elected president if Lando Calrissian didn't exist. Just saying. Lots of people fell in love with a light-skinned brother like Lando Calrissian back in the day on Star Wars. He was Barack Obama before Barack Obama happened. You bring out Billy D. Williams, the man could sell Colt 45, and he could fly the Millennium Falcon like a badass. Even if he initially sold Han Solo down the road to Darth Vader, still made plays. I got to tell you, number 4 on this list, Lando Calrissian. Number five on the hotness rankings all time of Star Wars. I know the movie was a little bit not great, but I got to tell you, it's Rey. I think that Rey really hot. I think that she is underrated hot. I think that she is underrated hot. I think that she is the fifth best looking person in Star Wars. Number 6. And I'm only going to do the top 6, and then I'll take your recommendations in the event that I miss somebody. Number 6 on the hotness list, Anakin. Adult Anakin, not kid Anakin, you perverts. Number 6 on the hotness list all time, Anakin. Again, grown-up Anakin, before he gets burned and becomes Darth Vader Anakin. Anakin was kind of a babe, all right? Those are the 6 hottest people in the history of Star Wars. Any other arguments, in any other degree, with any other suggestions, you are wrong. Those are the 6 hottest people to ever appear in Star Wars. What questions do you have? What about the chick from Rogue One? I don't really count her. I don't really count her. Some of you are calling for a recap. Let's see if I can manage to do my 6 without screwing it up. Number 1, Princess Leia. Number 2, Han Solo. Number 3, Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala. Number 4, Lando Calrissian. Number 5, Rey. Number 6, I'm going to go with Anakin. If you want to go with number 7, the new chick, whatever her name is, but she's dead now. She died in the movie at the, spoiler alert, in the event, I hate to ruin the movie for you, but in the event you have not seen Rogue One, then pretend that I didn't just say that. That is number top 7, 100%. Any other suggestions? Any other suggestions out there? Portman greater than Princess Leia? You can make that argument. You're wrong. Natalie Portman never going to top Princess Leia in the slave costume. Han Solo. That's right. My son did come on the show and say that Han Solo died on the show. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen episode 7 by now, that's on you. All right. There are my rankings. You can put your own rankings up there. You can disagree with me. And again, as I always say, you can disagree with me. You have the right to be wrong. That is my Star Wars hotness rankings, 1 to 7, across the board, undisputed. Okay. That's right. My son said Rey is cute for a British girl, which was an amazing line. I don't even know how he knows what British people sound like, but he did say, my 6-year-old said Rey is cute for a British girl, which is an amazing line. Okay. I think you're sleeping on Mace Windu. Disagree. Mace Windu back in the day, maybe got some play, not now. All right. Here we go. Additional thoughts as we roll through the day. By the way, before I go any further, I'm going down to the beach. You guys know that I love to go down to the beach. It's the best beach in America. Do you know where the best beach in America is right now? 30A Cottage. 30A Cottages. 30A has the best beaches in America. Gulf Coast. Going to go down there for 2 weeks. I'll be doing the show live from the beach from May 20th to June 4th. 2 weeks in a row, I'll be doing the show live from the beach, May 20th to June 4th. Best beaches in the continental United States are on 30A, the Gulf Coast. Absolutely spectacular. I can't wait to get down there. We're going to buy a beach house soon, maybe with the money I'm going to make over Outkick Premium, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. My wife wants to be beachside. She doesn't want to be on the opposite side of 30A, so I got to make a lot more money and make sure that I get beachside, literally overlooking the ocean. And I'm telling you right now that the people who hook me up when I go there, 30acottages.com. They have all remarkable homes. Why stay in an okay condo? Why stay in a crappy hotel room when you can stay in literally a mansion on the beach? Decide where you want to move. Decide where you want to live. Go to 30acottages.com. You're right. Tom Glavine has got an unbelievable place that he is building, I believe, in Rosemary Beach, like a $12 million house. I know I'm living right when I start to get mailers from 30A realtors and they're sending me links for $12 million houses. I wish I had $12 million to spend on a beach house right now, but I do not. One day, maybe. But in the meantime, I'm staying with an awesome place. Go down on your vacation. Do what I do. Go to 30acottages.com. That's the number 30acottages.com. Tell them Outkick sent you, and you'll get 5% off. And by the way, if you're going to be down on 30A, we're going to do a couple of live shows, I think, down on 30A while I'm down there. So we'll try to have an Outkick meetup. Lots of dads, lots of moms, lots of college kids, everybody down there. If you're a part of the Outkick audience, that's our beach. And I will reach out to you guys and let you know where we will hang out. Okay, thank you guys again. Go to 38cottages.com. All right, the healthcare bill just happened. A healthcare bill just happened. The House of Representatives has passed a healthcare bill, and I just want to say this. I consider myself to be a fairly smart guy. Healthcare is, to me, the single most broken thing of everything that exists in America. And that is because I'm honestly telling you the truth. Healthcare is the only thing I spend money on that I have absolutely no idea what it costs. And I want to just tell you a little example. What's wild is I've had 3 kids, right? 3 kids. And when you got a pregnant wife, the pregnancy is one of the few things you get to decide in healthcare where ideally you leave the hospital in an infinitely better mood than you got there in, and like everything's just positive, right? So you go tour all the different hospitals in the area to decide which one you want to have a child at. And so we went and toured all the different hospitals. And I'll tell you this, I went with my wife too, not because I have anything at all to decide about the hospital we're going to choose, but just because when your wife is pregnant, you do whatever she asks. So I'm walking around taking the tour. And you know what's fascinating about it to me? They said a bunch of different things. Like, we have new bamboo flooring here. The Wi-Fi is flawless. We've got these bands that we put on the babies to ensure that nobody can steal your baby, boy or girl, or mixed gender baby. Evidently, let's be inclusive as we can possibly be, boy, girl, or mixed gender baby. And so gender to be determined later, like a trade. And so you end up with this situation where they put like a band around the baby's ankle and they're taking you around and they show you all like this, oh, we play this beautiful music here and we do like, it's amazing, like it's like going to a place where they have like Wagyu beef. They're like, we only feed them grass-fed beef here. Like we massage their ankles, we massage their muscles, we play India music the whole time, whatever it is. You know what they never mentioned? They never mentioned what anything cost. It's the only thing I've ever gone to sample. And we went to multiple hotels in the Nashville area where I live, where not one moment in time did they ever mention what the cost was of birthing a baby there. And after we left, I said to my wife, you know what's crazy? Like if we were going to buy a car, you wouldn't walk on the car lot and they wouldn't just take you around and show you all these different cars and never tell you what one cost. You would never actually go to look at houses and walk into a house and see all the different attributes that the house had and not know what the price range was for the house before you went in. Yet when we had a baby, I went in there and I went through all the different hospitals and not one hospital ever mentioned, and oh, by the way, we've got a better deal than that other hospital because we're cheaper. They don't compete on price. It's the very anti-element of capitalism. In every other capitalistic business, everybody makes a decision to compete on price. You got to provide service that somebody else doesn't have. The quality of your product has to be better. The only place in the world, in America, that we do not compete on price is healthcare. And that got me thinking how insane that was. And I have healthcare insurance, and for a long time I had to buy it myself because I was a small business, and so my wife would go out and shop for it, and I never had any idea what we were buying. I never had any idea what coverage we were getting compared to other coverage. It's a broken market. And I started thinking, why is that? If you could go back in time and just eliminate the way that we pay for healthcare now, what you would do is something pretty basic. And by the way, we're not getting better results. People in America aren't living longer than they are in other places. We just spend a lot more money for coverage that may or may not make sense, right? I mean, doctors are incentivized to get you to go get tests that you don't need. Doctors are incentivized to code you for as much stuff as you want. You never make a decision in a hospital whether or not you need something. Like think about a hospital versus a hotel. When I go into a hotel room, they have a lot of stuff they're trying to upsell me on, right? They have all these different food. They got a love kit. They got condoms. They got alcohol. I know that the rate is going to be a lot higher if I eat out of the minibar or if I eat in the hotel, but I got to price there and make the decision, right? You understand how it works. You make a decision about whether or not you need something. Everybody doesn't get room service in the hotel, right? A lot of people bring food back to save money. You never get asked whether you need something in a hospital. They just do it. Once you're there and you're on your back, they rape you with charges. It's unbelievable to think about. And so I started thinking about how did we ever end up with this system? And I'm not getting into the pros or cons of healthcare. I'm getting into the fact that it doesn't make sense from a capitalistic perspective the way it exists right now, right? Right now, you get totally screwed no matter what you do, okay? You get totally screwed no matter what you do. I don't think anybody really feels like they get a great shake with the healthcare system. And I never feel like I get a great shake because I don't even know what the cost is. Imagine if you went on vacation and you had no idea what anything cost until you got back home and then you got a bill. That would be pretty unacceptable, right? Unless you're just filthy rich. That's how healthcare is every time you go anywhere. So what is broken about it is, first of all, we shouldn't have companies providing healthcare. Just like you don't have car insurance through your employer, no employer should be on the hook to provide you healthcare. Like, that's an absurd thing to add. Now, if you want to try to provide healthcare to retain employees as an added benefit, that's fine, but it shouldn't be an untaxed compensation that everybody agrees should happen. Shouldn't happen. So I don't know what the future of healthcare is, but I just want you to think like I just ran through those examples and think about it. Healthcare is the only thing in this country that we don't actually have a competitive marketplace for because nobody has any idea what it costs. Think about that. Why does that matter? Well, everybody can get a different range of healthcare options, right? Like, everybody doesn't buy a Rolls Royce. Everybody doesn't buy a Miata. People buy the car that fits their lifestyle, just like people buy the house that fits their lifestyle. That doesn't happen in healthcare at all. It's broken fundamentally, and I would like market-based, sensible solutions. People say, oh, well, healthcare is different because it's your health. Yeah, right. But that's why you look at the results. The results in America are no better despite the fact of the money that we pay. We don't get appreciable longer lives than people who pay a lot more money than we do. That means I think we're over-doctored. People get over-treated because that's how doctors get rich. Doctors decide, oh, we need to get this CT scan. We need to put this person on to a prescription drug, whatever it is. Doctors over-medicate us because that's how they get rich. I'm fortunate I don't have to go to the doctor office very often, but I would be perfectly fine paying out of my pocket for everything. At this point in time, all I want is catastrophic coverage. If I get into a car accident or one of my kids or my wife does, I don't want to go bankrupt because I got $5 million in suddenly doctor's fees. Other than that, I pay out of pocket for everything anyway, right? Like, I don't know what my deductible is, but it's fucking high, and we're fortunate we don't have a lot of sick kids, but that's the truth. I don't know what the answer is, but it's fundamentally broken, and I believe, as a guy who believes in market-based capitalistic solutions, that one of the reasons why our healthcare system is broken is because nobody has any idea what things cost. If they did have any idea what things cost, then people would compete on price, and the person who's providing the best product for the best price would win. That's why Walmart exists. That's why Costco exists. That's why Amazon exists, because we have creative destruction in this country. Your business evolves or it dies. The reason this show exists, Outkick the Show, and it's dominating, is because my business evolved. I could have kept writing the same articles on Outkick and just doing that. Instead, I said, wait a minute. Writing is starting to lose audience everywhere. Even as good of a writer as I can be, people are going to want to hear me. I'm going to sit in front of this screen every day at 3 o'clock Eastern and talk about whatever the biggest stories of the day are, in sports and otherwise, and we're going to have a really big audience because there's a big audience for what I produce. But I got to evolve with the times. I skipped ahead of the podcast generation. Lots of people are just catching up with podcasts. We're 2 years ahead of podcasts with this show. Because it's a market, and because there's creative destruction, and because I'm trying to stay ahead of my competitors in the market and do things uniquely, creatively that nobody else is doing. Why is that not happening in healthcare? Why am I going out when my wife is having kids, going around to visit all these hospitals, and none of them are competing for price? Not one of them ever mentioned their cost compared to somewhere else. Imagine that you went into a house, went shopping for a house, and that happened. It's an analogy that I think a lot of you can understand, especially if you've had a baby or you're recently or soon going to have a baby. You have no idea what it's going to cost. It's the only thing in my life I've done where I had no idea what the cost was going to be, and I was out shopping just like it was a normal occurrence. Okay, a couple of other additional hits that I want to get. the Outkick VIP. Big news. I announced yesterday on this show, I am now in charge of all Outkick ad sales for this on Facebook, for this on Periscope, and for the podcast, and also for everything that appears on Outkick the Coverage. And as part of that, we are going to do Outkick VIP. And you know what happens? When I happen to look down and I don't like what somebody's saying, you get blocked. You get blocked and you're gone forever. And by the way, people asking whether this Trump care or Obamacare is good or bad, nobody knows. Nobody knows whether it's good or bad because nobody has any idea how healthcare works because there's no market. Nobody has any idea whether it's good or bad because it's fundamentally broken from the get-go. That's the truth. Okay? Outkick VIP is going to be awesome. Outkick VIP is going to be a premium section of Outkick the Coverage. And what we're going to do is I'm going to charge you a fixed rate. You are going to get into a social network. We're going to have events all over the country: Nashville, Birmingham, Dallas, Houston, LA, Chicago, New York, all of our biggest markets. And we're going to have Vegas weekends. We're going to have parties. I'm telling you this right now, announcing this right now. We're going to have the best party surrounding the national title game this year at the College Football National Championship game. National Championship game is in Atlanta this year. We are going to have the best party, Outkick is, at the national title game this year. I don't even know who's playing. It's on a Monday night in Atlanta, theoretically in the new stadium they're building, assuming that the roads are working in Atlanta, and anybody can drive there. I guarantee you that we are going to have the baddest ass party surrounding the college football national championship game. If you're in Atlanta right now, go ahead and book a room. Doesn't matter what the event is, on Friday or Saturday night of that weekend, we are going to throw an incredible party, and it's going to be Outkick VIP. We're going to have the best party of the college football playoff. The way you get invited to all of our events and guarantee yourself that you're going to get in is Outkick VIP. We're going to spend a lot of time on gambling there. It will have a message board. We will hopefully insist that everybody can use the correct your. That'll be one of the requirements. You'll have your own profile. You can use it as a networking device. It's behind a paywall, so it's not public. And I think it's going to be really successful. We're also going to toss in shirts, autographed books, all these other different things. I will be active there answering questions. We're going to spend a lot of time on gambling picks, hopefully make you money there. We will put them up on that site before they go up anywhere else. I haven't decided on the price yet. What do you think the price should be? You guys can make your case for what you think the price should be. It's going to be a year-long price. I'm not going to do a monthly price. I'm not going to let people show up. You're going to pay a yearly subscription fee. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious on all of the different responses. Yeah, that is I appreciate all of your responses. I will check them out, and I will consider it. What I want to do is put the price high enough that we kick out the dumbasses, but low enough that people can afford to get in there and have a good time hanging out. Like, I don't want it to be a collection of idiots. And sometimes if you price it, like, I don't want a public message board. People have been saying for a long time, why doesn't Outkick have a public message board? And my answer is because idiots get involved in public message boards. I want like a high-end networking site for people. When I meet people out with Outkick, one of the things that most impresses me is how successful the Outkick audience is on a general basis. And so I want that audience to be able to interact with each other. Because you may find out, hey, I live in Nashville and there's tons of people who like Outkick that I would never have met otherwise. Or I live in LA, or I live in San Francisco, or wherever you live. And that is the idea, kind of creating our own social network within Outkick. So I think it will be pretty awesome. I think it will be really cool. And I'm excited to unveil it in the near future. The other lesson, as always, is I am taking over this entire process. And it's going to be really cool, but I'm taking over all ad sales, and soon we will be launching Outkick Premium, and soon after that, I'll be buying my beachside home. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody coming to hang out, and I appreciate all of you. Again, you can always reach out, claytravis@gmail.com. My lesson to you is always simple. May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day to everyone. Remember my top 7 hottest people in the history of Star Wars. Again, if you're just tuning in, Princess Leia 1, number 2, Han Solo, number 3, Queen Amidala, a.k.a. Padme, a.k.a. Natalie Portman. Number 4, Lando Calrissian. Number 5, Rey. Number 6, who was number 6? Am I forgetting somebody at number 6? Anakin. Anakin was number 6. And number 7, the new chick in Rogue One. That, my friends, is Outkick the Show for Thursday, May 4th. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. Make sure you wear your sombrero and your mustache because it would be racist if you didn't. I'm Clay Travis. DBAP, this has been Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader as always. Let's have some fun tonight.